Sustainable Development Goals, or more commonly known as SDGs, officially came into force in January 2016 after it was adopted at the 2015 UN Summit. It is made of 17 goals and apply universally in every country. This way, for the next 15 years, every country, poor, rich, developed, or developing, must play their part to promote prosperity while protecting the planet Earth. They recognize that ending poverty must go hand in hand with strategies that build economic growth and address a range of social needs, including education, health, social protection, and job opportunities. This has to be done while tackling climate change and environmental protection. SDGs are not legally binding, but governments are expected to take ownership and establish national frameworks for the achievement of the 17 goals. The SDG goal we are going to delve further into this video is the fourth goal. SDG number 4 is quality education. It has 10 targets encompassing many different aspects of education. There are 7 targets which are the expected outcomes and 3 targets which are means of achieving these targets. The 7 outcome targets are expected to be achieved by 2030. Data has shown that the proportion of children and youth out of primary and secondary school had declined from 26% in 2000 to 19% in 2010 and 17% in 2018. Before the coronavirus crisis, projection has shown that more than 200 million children would be out of school and only 16% of young people would be completing upper secondary education in 2013. This is why the first target of the fourth goal is universal primary and secondary education that aims for children to be free to complete quality primary and secondary education that would lead them to relevant and effective learning outcomes. The second target is early childhood development and universal pre-primary education. More than half of children that have not enrolled in school live in sub-Saharan Africa, and more than 85% of children in sub-Saharan Africa are not yet learning the minimum. The second target aims to have every child receive care in their early childhood so that they are ready for primary education. Third one is equal access to technical or vocational and higher education. It should ensure an equal access for all children to an affordable and quality education, including university. Fourth is relevant skills for decent work, where substantially increase the number of youth and adults who have relevant skills, including technical and vocational skills, for employment, decent jobs, and entrepreneurship. Fifth one is gender equality and inclusion, where it eliminates any gender disparity in education, including persons with disability, indigenous people, and children in vulnerable situations. The sixth target is a universal youth literacy that ensures all youth and a substantial proportion of adults have achieved literacy and numeracy. This is important because according to UNESCO, 617 million youth worldwide lack basic mathematics and literacy skills. Some 750 million adults, 2/3 of them are women, remain illiterate in 2016. Half of the global illiterate population lives in the South Asia, and a quarter live in sub-Saharan Africa. In 10th low and middle-income countries, children with disabilities were 19% less likely to achieve minimum proficiency in reading than those without disabilities. The last target, but definitely not the least important, is education for sustainable development and global citizenships, where all learners acquire the knowledge and skills needed to promote sustainable development, including, among many others, are true education for sustainable development and sustainable lifestyles, human rights, gender equality, promotion of a culture of peace and non-violence, global citizenship, and an appreciation of cultural diversity and of culture's contribution to sustainable development. As mentioned earlier in the video, there are three means that the governments can implement in order to turn these goals into a beautiful reality. The first fundamental thing they need to provide is an effective learning environment, which means that there needs to be a safe, non-violent, inclusive, and appropriate environment for children in order for them to learn effectively. Next, the government has to expand their scholarship offer. This is especially beneficial for developing and least developing countries. A great number of scholarships means a higher chance for children to gain access to proper education. However, all of this will not be complete without a supply of teachers. After all, great teachers create great students. By 2030, it is expected to have a substantial increase of qualified teachers through an international cooperation in training for teachers, especially in developing and least developing countries. Achieving inclusive and quality education for all reaffirms the belief that education is one of the most powerful and proven vehicles for sustainable development. An integrated approach is crucial for progress across the multiple goals on SDG. Since 2000, there has been a great progress in achieving the target of universal primary education. The total enrollment rate in developing regions have reached 91% in 2015, and the worldwide number of children out of school has dropped by almost half. Now that the SDGs have been born, countries have a need systematic goals that will allow them to achieve greater results. If everyone keeps putting their best efforts, the SDGs completion is within reach. All we have to do is play our part and cooperate together. Let's create a better world for us and for our future generations.